Hello dear students, today we are going to discuss about the chapter control and coordination. So before moving, uh, hello dear students, today we are going to discuss the chapter control and coordination. And before moving into the chapter, we should know that what is the need of control and coordinations in organisms and other animals. So as we know that the organism is in direct contact with its environment, any change in its surrounding have an influence on its body. So if any type of changes occurs in our surrounding or the environment, we are affected by that. So to maintain a balance between the environmental factor and body functions, there is a need of such controlling and coordinating system that work for the welfare of the organism. So for our welfare, there must be a control and coordinating system in our body and in other organisms too. So coming to the nervous system of our body, in animals, this control and coordination is carried out by the nervous and the muscular system. As we have already discussed that the nervous system is consisting of two parts, that is the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system means basically consists of your brain and the spinal cord. It consists of our nervous system consists of a cranial as well as the spinal nerves. 12 pairs of the cranial nerves and 30 pair of the spinal nerves are present in our nervous system. So, coming to the structure of the nerve cell. As we all know that it is the longest cell found in the human body and it may reach up to the length of 1 meter. In class 9 we have already discussed about the structure of the nerve cell, and we all know that it basically consisting of three body parts or three parts, that is the cell body, dendrites and the axon. We are very familiar with the structure of the nerve cells as we have gone through the structure in our class 9 also. Cell body is a rounded part having a nucleus and other cell organelles. It bears short thread-like structure known as dendrites. So the short thread-like structures are known as the dendrites, which receives the stimulus. So any type of stimulus, that is the signal, is received by the dendrites of the nerve cells. Axon is a long process which carries the information from one neuron to another neuron. A very small gap is present in between two neurons. This gap is known as your synapse. So, functioning. The stimulus is received by the dendrite tips. These are the dendrites. This is the cell body. This is your axon and this is your nerve endings. The stimulus is received by the dendritic tip of the nerve cell and carried in the form of the electric impulse. So, the dendrites receive the stimulus in the electric form and carried through the axon to the receptor. Impulse travels from the dendrites to the cell body and through the axon at its end known as the nerve ending. Here it set up chemical impulse by releasing some chemicals known as the neurotransmitters in the synapse. Synapse is the gap between the two neurons. So a neurotransmitter is a chemical which is present in the synapse. These chemicals pass through the synapse and reach to the dendrites of other neuron to transfer the information again in the electric form. So the information that is received on the dendrites are passed on to the axon. Then from the axon it goes to the nerve endings. From the nerve ending it moves to the dendrites of the another neurons. And the gap between the two neurons is known as your synapse. When synapse occurs between a neuron and a muscle cells, then it is known as neuromuscular junctions. Okay, so when there is a gap between the neurons, it is a neuron cell and the muscle cells, then it is called as what? Neuromuscular junction. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter present in the synapse. Coming to the next topic is about the reflex action. It is a nerve mediated spontaneous automatic involuntary response to a stimulus without the will of the organisms. Even if we are unconscious or not willing to do that work, our reflex actions do it automatically. It is first discovered by the Marshall Hall in 1883. For example of the reflex action, one of the best example of the reflex action is mentioned here, that if we accidentally touch a hot plate on our hand, we move it back instantly without thinking of the matter. Why it is so? Because it occurs by the involvement of the spinal cord, so it happens very quickly, as the receptor and the effector is in direct contact with the spinal cord. So nervous system, as we know that it is in direct contact with the environment. As we are direct contact with the environment, any changes in our environment, we must respond to it. Okay, and it is done by our nervous system. So if we are touching a hot object, we are pulling back our hand, it is due to the reflex action in which our nervous system is included. So it is the reflex arc or the pathway is shown here. The pathway followed by the reflex action to show a response. Okay, so it is the receptor, that is the sensory neurons. The dendrites receives the stimulus, it sends it to the sensory nerve. From the sensory nerve, it then moves to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord, the signal moves to the motor nerves, and the motor nerves give instructions to the effector, and effector is the muscles. So the muscles pull back the hand from the hot object or dangerous object. By this pathway, our signal moves forward. Coming to the next topic is about the brain. So brain is a part of CNS, central nervous system, which consists of your brain and spinal cord. It is the most complex organ in the human body. As we all know that it consisting of your three organs or three parts, that is the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. It is the center of performing all the types of action, either voluntary or involuntary in nature. So the voluntary means the action that are controlled by the organism, and involuntary means the action that are not controlled. For example, our heartbeat, respiration, excretion, digestion, all those processes. It performs the functions same as that of the central processing unit or CPU in a computer. Forebrain. It is the front and the largest part of the brain. It consists of your olfactory lobe, diencephalon and cerebrum. So it's basically consisting of your three parts, and its main functions are represented here. It is the main thinking part of our brain. Whatever we are thinking, it occurs in our forebrain. It has separate area for receiving sensory impulse. It also transmit motor impulse to the muscles to show the response. It has center for hearing, hunger, smell, sight, intelligence, memory, learning, vision, mood and emotions. So all those activities goes on in our forebrain. Hypothalamus and pituitary secretes a varieties of hormones, which we will learn it later on. About the different types of hormones and its action in our body, which are secreted by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, we will learn about it later on. Moving to the next topic is about the hindbrain. As we know that there are three parts of the brain: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. It is the back part of the brain and consisting of the medulla, pons varolii and the cerebrum. Okay, these three parts constitutes your hindbrain. And what are its function? It controls the involuntary action along with the midbrain. Blood pressure, heartbeat, sneezing, salivation, vomiting are controlled by the medulla. Medulla is a part of the forebrain as hindbrain, as we have studied it here, that the hindbrain consisting of your three parts, that is the medulla, pons varolii and the cerebellum. Cerebellum is responsible for equilibrium, precision of voluntary actions, maintaining posture and the balance of the body. So when we are standing, our balance is maintained by the cerebellum of the part, and cerebellum is a part of the hindbrain. So as the brain is one of the important part of our body, it should be protected. That is the CNS constituting your spinal cord and brain. It must be protected as it is one of the important part of our nervous system. Our central nervous system is properly protected to prevent any injury. Brain is placed inside the bony box known as the cranium, inside which the brain is surrounded by a fluid to protect from the shock. And the spinal cord is protected in the vertebral column. So this part is your vertebral column and this part is your skull. Okay, and it's all about the nervous system in the human beings. We will study about the control and coordinations and about the different types of hormone in our next video. Thank you all for watching the videos.